back to Rust Hammer Forge here in Walla Walla, Washington. In our last episode with our Tusk slash knife tongs, we've been working on our boss section here. The transition between the boss and the range and the boss and the bit. So what we're going to do today is we're going to continue to refine this down to the point to where we get something that looks like that. So here's what we have after yesterday, and here's what we have today. So, and we're going to thin down our bit. So we've thinned down our bit quite a bit and lengthen it out. Could go a little bit longer, but we're going to keep it at this length right here. We're sitting at about, from the bit, from the boss itself, we're at 5 7/8, and from boss to bit yesterday we were at 4 1/4. So we stretched it out quite a bit. So right now we're going to head over the anvil and we're going to go over the hammer strikes before we start the forge. Alright, the hammers we'll be using for the initial is this 14-ounce ball peen. Has a really nice dome on it. And what you're going to be doing when you come out of your forge, you're going to be coming in here and you're just going to continue to hit that right in there, right on that little shoulder there that comes down into the bit. Same thing on the shoulder that goes down into the reins. Hit that back. Now you're going to be upsetting it, so you got to flip it over on the flat and continually come back from the vertical to the horizontal to the vertical to the horizontal. That way you're not getting a fish lips or a pinching piece that's going to flap down and lap over on the inside or outside of your boss, and this could create a snag, or it will create a sharp point too for any hands running over it. So make sure that you are continually coming from the vertical to the horizontal, back to the vertical, so that you can keep this all in one plane. Alright, now we have these forged, all down, same length, tapered out. We've now taken them over to the drill press and drilled them up. Now how we did that, we just stacked them on top of each other, clamped them down, and drilled straight down through all of them. Now what you're going to find, you need to go find yourself a bolt and a nut that fits this hole. This is not your final pin. You can use it as your pin, but what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up making our own pin and using our rivet header to round it off. But what this is going to do, this is for the next part of forging, or if you just want to leave them how they are and go straight from the grinder at this point. We're just doing alignment issues right now. So we're going to take and tighten these down, and we're just going to align everything. I don't really care if they come together, you know. I'm just looking at whether they are in line, you know, all fall within the same plane. Now we have a little bit of a bend. You can see that right here. So that's because this one's bent up. This one needs to be forged down a little bit more. And what this will do is we'll stick this in our forge, clamp it down with our tongs. And I like using a pair of wolf jaws for this because it allows you to hold on to square stuff really nicely and really tight. What we'll do is we'll just take this and we'll just do some light hits with our hammer up and down the reins, and then if we need to align anything around the boss, we'll start upsetting that down. But I mean, they're handmade. They're not supposed to look machined, and so, you know, we're not going for that machined look. We're going for the, hey, these are handmade look. Now we do have a little bit of a lap in there. We're going to take that out on the grinder. We're going to go hit the grinder, take that out, and then forge everything else out. So we'll see you at the forge next. We're going to heat these up in the forge, and then we're going to put them in the vise down here, right here, and we're going to open these up and we're going to squeeze them down and use the vise to press them into place. We're just going to walk that down our vise jaws as we go. Okay, here we're back at the workbench with our tongs. Now what we did, we're going to put our bolt back in here. I took it out after we cooled these down. But let's show you what these look like. What we did is we took in and stacked these on top of each other with a bolt through it, with a 5/16. So that's a 5/16 hole with a 5/16 bolt and nut. And we aligned these. That's what we were doing at the end. Now, they turned out really great. They are super in line, nice, you know, for the next stage that we're going to be going into on our next episode. But what these need to look like is when you're making a pair of tongs, everybody kind of gets bent out of shape about what? Making a top and a bottom. You don't make a top and a bottom. You make two identical pieces, and then turn one over. So with that being said, we turn one over. We're going to put our bolt back through here for the time being. We don't want to cinch this down really tight right now. We're just going to do it. So there's your tongs right there. They already kind of want to fall in line with each other. So that's good to know. Now with a little bit of tweaking, as we get this thing to tighten really down, they're going to want to splay apart like that. And we just stick them back in the forge, which you'll see in the next episode, and we'll align everything. But what we're shooting for these Tusk tongs is something like this. This is this pair of my workhorse tongs, one of my first ones I did. It's had some problems, some issues, so I just kept it and put it on my rack, and they work out really nice. These are made out of 5/8 square, forged down, kept rounded handles on the back end. Didn't have rounded handles on these, but we're going to soften all the edges on this. So what these are, what we're going to do it here in the next episode, which you guys will see, is we're going to put this little S curve and do a flop bend over the top to make our piece look just like that. So stick around, we'll see you in the next episode. Take it easy and forge on.